Hey guys, my name is Zach. Today I'll be showing you how to make cold brew at home. So cold brew is an immersion style coffee, which practically means that the coffee is steeped in water for a process of 12 hours or so, depending on how you like it. This gives out a more richer, smoother, easier to drink coffee. So first things first, what you'll be needing to make cold brew at home is, of course, the coffee. For coffee, it's pretty much preference. If you like drinking your coffee black, then I'd prefer to go somewhere along the line the filter roast, somewhere like this. Second thing you'll need is a grinder. In this case, I'm using a Comandante grinder. You can get these Comandante grinders on coffee parts online or alternative brewing. They're really good grinders just because they're all made of steel and it's all just one part, and it's probably the best hand grinder in the market at the moment. Or if you can get your local cafes that you purchase your coffee from to grind your coffee in, they'll use the same grinder as we will use if you go into our store and ask the coffees to be grinded. So next thing you need is a set of scales. Now you don't have to go too fancy and get the most expensive scales. You can get one from your own kitchen, as long as it can measure up to 250 grams of coffee. And then you'll also need filter water. So I've pre-filtered water. If you don't have one of these jugs, they're called Brita jugs. Now you can buy these in Coles, Woolies, they're about $25. Or you can just get bottles of water, basically. So the only reason to use filter water in this case is just so that the coffee is extracted a lot better. The taste will be a lot more balanced and a lot more sweeter than your normal tap waters. And last thing but not least, you'll need some form of vessel. Now you can use a jar, you can use a bottle, whatever you see fit or whatever you can find. I would prefer to use something that can hold up to 2 liters of water. Just because cold brew is such a laborious process, and you'll only be making one batch. So the more you can make, the better, and the more you can store for yourself, basically. All right, so you've got your coffee, you've got your grinder, scales, filtered water, and place to brew the cold brew. Let's start making some cold brew. So for today, we'll be using a brew ratio of 1 to 10. So today we'll be making 2 liters of cold brew. Hence, we'll be needing 200 grams of coffee. So you want to weigh your coffee out. So you've got your coffee grounded or pre-grounded. Now all you need to do is just put in your coffee into the bucket. The first thing I normally do is called blooming. So a blooming process is pretty much getting the coffee evenly saturated to sort of make sure that all the coffee is evenly wet and evenly started to extract before we begin with the 12-hour brewing process. So you want to submerge the coffee in 3 times its weight. So if you use 200 grams of coffee, you want to pour in 600 grams of water first to sort of get all the coffee nice and wet, and then we'll leave that blooming process for about 2 minutes or so. So blooming process done. So all you need to do is pour the rest of the water in. You've poured all your water in, your coffee is all saturated with the blooming process, and that's all done. Close the lid, make sure it's tight, and put that into the freezer. Now, you normally want to leave that for a process of 12 hours or 24, depending on how long you want to extract coffee. For a longer period of time, the coffee will be more intense. All right. Once it's been 12 hours brewed, all you need to do is pretty much strain it. There's two ways to strain your cold brew. You can use a cloth filter or you can use a paper filter. If you use a cloth, the process is a lot faster. The only difference is that you'll have a lot of sediments, or you can use a paper filter. These are called V60 paper filters. Preferably, I would go with using a paper filter to strain it, just because the end product is a lot cleaner. So, as you can see, I've got two results. One is using the paper filters, and one is using the cloth filter. So, with this, we used a paper filter to strain the cold brew, and this we used a cloth filter. So, as you can see, it's a lot cloudier. There's not much wrong with the one brewed with the cloth. It's just you've got a bit more of a grittiness. Rather this one, it's a lot cleaner and the flavors are all sort of balanced out. Pretty much it. That's how you make cold brew at home. Delicious, cheap, easy coffee at home anytime.